Hello, and welcome to tier number 2 on my Air Purifier industry source rankings list. Okay, in the last video, I explained some of the problems associated with peer-reviewed studies in tier number 3, as there are some interesting dynamics involved with their testing methodologies and the folks who actually run those tests. They don't appear to be as trustworthy of an air purification resource as one might initially imagine, but they are probably, or hopefully, more reliable in general than the hit or miss general influencers in tier number 4. And the general influencers, even with all their flaws, are more trustworthy than the not to be trusted business owners in tier number 5, who oftentimes will make some outrageous claims on their own products. Now, we will discuss tier number 2. And in tier number 2, we have YouTube channels and blogs who specifically deal with and focus on air purifier equipment at least some of the time. We could include brands like Modern Castle, Vacuum Wars, Ratings.com, Air Purifiers First, House Fresh, and so on. And then I'd also include some of the well-known publication types like Consumer Reports, Wired, and even Popular Mechanics. All of these brands that do testing, they utilize amateur testing techniques and methodologies to obtain their data and provide their opinions on the results of their data. Now, some of them obviously are better and more reliable than others, of course, but for now, I'm just going to put them all into a general group in tier 2. Eventually, I may make a specific ranking list of this tier as well. One of the more important characteristics of the brands and sources in tier 2 is that they have worked with and analyzed several different air purification solutions, and they therefore oftentimes attempt to make some comparisons between them. Over time, they gain more familiarity with air purifiers in general as they gain more experience. I would say that most of the tier 2 sources really do try to steer consumers in the right direction, and most of them do have their hearts in the right place. Most of them do mean well, and they are really trying to educate the general public to the best of their abilities with the resources they have available. That said, I oftentimes do disagree with a lot of their air purifier rankings, and I will oftentimes disagree with a lot of the conclusions they draw from their own testing data, just like we saw with my video critique of the Ratings.com air purifier rankings. I disagree with some of their conclusions. Now, sometimes brands in tier 2 will get paid to review an air purifier, and sometimes they'll rank one air purifier over another one because they make more commissions on it. And sometimes they make some less than perfect recommendations because they have limited knowledge of the air filtration industry, and or their testing methodologies have imperfections or limitations, and or their testing equipment has limitations itself. For example, they cannot accurately test for ultrafine particles, nor VOCs or chemicals. So they do possess some limitations on the testing side. But all that being said, I would argue that there isn't necessarily one single test on an air purifier that tells us everything about how it will perform on different speeds, or how it will filter for all different particle sizes, and or how it will perform over time as the filters get dirty. And I believe this to be true for even tests performed by the tier 1 professional expert third-party testing labs. No single test on an air purifier tells us everything about every facet of its performance in the real world. Most all air purifier tests provide a snapshot of how that air purifier performs at one particular point in time on that particular fan setting. And therefore, when we analyze and compare the results from many different air purifier tests on the internet performed by different tier 2 brands, we can possibly obtain some important additional insights into the filtration performance of the solutions. So, in my opinion, most of the time, brands, people, and sources in this tier 2, are typically trying to be honest with their reviews, and they really are trying their best to provide good information for consumers. In general, they are oftentimes committed to creating a lot of air purifier content, and like I said, most of them do mean well, and most have their hearts in the right place, and we can potentially learn some good information from some of them. For all these reasons, I've assigned them to tier number 2. Okay, please click on this video here to learn about the final and highest, most trustworthy tier on our list for air filtration testing, which is tier number 1. I'll see you there.